Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on the Gridiron on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
Is that better? I just hooked up this Quest. I think it defaulted to my VR unit. Appreciate that though, because it looks like everything is good. But hopefully, you guys. It looks like my microphone is registered now, so there we go. But what I was saying was, I ain't scared of nobody. Nobody. I'm looking at Justin Herbert. Guess what, Justin? Won't you grab my hand? Jet2 holiday. Welcome to a Jet2 holiday. The playoff package is available. Justin Herbert getting the presidential suite on the playoff package for the Jet2 holidays. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans, man. Played here with the Eagles. Was a good dude. Turned out to be a great coach. Or is turning out to be a great coach. But drinking my coffee. Got my Legends cup. Getting it in. Listen. Ain't nobody scared of nobody. We clinched our division first. NFC East was handled first. Cowboys got their tickets to Cancun first. Now you got somebody to party with at the beach. Oh, the pool parties are gonna be live and popping. They're gonna be live and popping. Man, the Chargers had it. It was some questionable calls in this game. I ain't gonna lie. It was some BS calls that roughened the passer. That was weak sauce. But they had opportunities. Chargers had opportunities to win this game, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. So, like I said, man, and that's just me being real. There's nobody that we should be worried about. And let me be honest with you, they really shouldn't be worried about us until we can get our run game and all of that together. So, because, hold on, here we go. Katie's mom, listen, the run game has been there the last couple of games. However, and let me make this point very clear, the run game is picking up because of Saquon Barkley, not because of our offensive line. I need to make that clear. It needs to be the other way around. Saquon Barkley needs to be having success because our offensive line is just blowing everybody off the ball. Our offensive line play has been, I don't know. What's one below average? Can I put adequate as average? Or I don't know. It's not been very good. It's not been consistent. We haven't. We may have had 1 to 2 games where we just blew everybody off the ball, in my opinion. So until we get that corrected, Saquon Barkley was the reason. Tank Bigsby was the reason our run game was tight. Playmakers were making plays. Let me say it like that. Our playmakers were making plays. It wasn't because our offensive line was blowing everybody off the line of scrimmage. But there's still an opportunity to make that happen. What up, Chris? Oh, you know what? You're right. Chargers are in the playoffs. The Texans had to win to get in the playoffs. So the Texans punched their spot. You are correct. My bad. The Texans punched their spot. If the Texans would have lost, they would have been out of the playoffs. But the Chargers are in. My mistake. Yeah, adequate is good. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Hopefully they can become dominant in the playoffs. We've got time to do that. We've got time to do that. So also I'm looking at these it was some bad injuries tonight. So the starters are probably going to play in Buffalo. If we handle our business, hopefully Tanner McKee is playing in the fourth quarter. I'll say it like that. Josh Allen don't scare me. Josh Allen, they should have lost against the Cleveland Browns. They should have lost that game. If Cleveland, I said this the other day, if the Cleveland Browns would have had any semblance of an offensive line, Shedeur would have won that game. The Browns would have won that game. So even with the injuries that they had with Judkins and all the other ones, all the Browns need right now is Shedeur and Harold Fannin Jr. That's it. That kid is a beast. Maybe Jerry Jeudy can get a catch every now and then, but if I'm the Browns, I ain't depending on Jerry Jeudy, and I can't wait to get him out of there. But you stuck with him, so the kid still has talent. So get what you can get out of him. But even as bad as Cleveland played, Cleveland should have won that game. They should have won that game. I don't know what Stefanski was doing. I know Shedeur got hurt. His pinky finger got smashed up. Now, I didn't know if he couldn't throw the ball or if they were just trying to do check down Charlie's all the way down the field. I don't know. But in any case, I thought that Cleveland had a good opportunity to win that game because Buffalo did not look good at all. So another team I'm not scared of. If the Browns had an adequate O-line, yeah. I've seen some plays from the Browns. I was like, oh, my God. Remember when I did that film study and I showed you Cam Jurgens just totally whiffing on his block, him and Tyler Steen just whiffing? There was a whole bunch of plays like that from the Browns. And dare I say, some of that stuff looked real suspect. Really suspect. And I'm like, yo, that looked like it looked bad. Like, did it on purpose bad. Now, I don't know if that's the case. But when you got an offensive lineman going Superman is when an offensive lineman just on the snap of the ball, they just go Superman right into the ground. They lunge forward, arms out, like Superman, and hit the ground. They don't hit nobody. And it's a very telling, because if you're not looking for it, it looks like somebody went down in the course of the play. But when you watch it in slow motion and you realize that they didn't hit anybody, and here's the telltale sign, because these are professional athletes. If you are a professional athlete playing offensive tackle at the NFL level, there are certain prerequisites that everybody has. One of those prerequisites is when you fire off the ball as an offensive lineman, you look at where you're going. So when you come out of your stance and do the Superman and you're looking down in the dirt, you're not trying to hit anybody. You're just going through the motions. And that's exactly what that dude did. And I was like, that's not a good look whatsoever. I don't know who taught him to do that in a situation like that. 4th and 1, and you going to do a Superman? Come on, dude. And it was quite evident. Quite evident. So I don't know. I don't know if they tanking to try to get another top pick. I don't know what they're going to do with Shador. In my opinion, Shador has shown enough to say, hey, we want to give him a full year as a starter and give him some offensive linemen and some blocking to see what he can do when he can stay back there in the pocket. To me, he's shown me enough where you would want to do that, because I look at it like this. If the situation was flipped and Dylan Gabriel had done some of the things that Shador had done, everybody would want to stick with Dylan Gabriel and they would want to give him another year because he showed you some promise. That's fair. That's the way it goes. But now they know without a shadow of a doubt, Shador's got a good arm. He's accurate. They knew he was accurate. Now they can't deny he's accurate. And they still want to act like he was just a 5th round pick. Y'all go ahead and do that. I'm telling you, there are a few similarities between Shador's situation and what happened here with Jalen Hurts. And I'm looking at it not as far as talent and being drafted and things of that nature. I'm talking specifically about the style of play, looking at him with your own eyes and coming up with your own conclusion and dumbing down or ignoring what everybody else says about him and just watch the game and tell me what you think. So, I don't I look at these games and I am thankful and I'm glad that we got Howie Roseman. I'm glad Jeffrey Lurie is our owner. I'm glad Jalen Hurts is our quarterback. Because I'll keep going back to this, man. You take all of them. You take Trevor Lawrence. You take Justin Herbert. You take CJ Stroud. You see that interception that CJ Stroud threw? That was horrible. And it almost cost them the game. So I will take my QB1. Y'all go ahead on and get them style points if you want them. I don't need them. I got somebody that's coming through in the clutch every chance he gets. Every chance he gets. I ain't scared of nobody. Nobody. I don't know, man. Listen, the Rams don't scare me. Rams do not scare me. Matthew Stafford has not been that good. He's had his issues too. The best player on y'all team is Jared Verse. I got much respect for Jared Verse because Jared Verse came in here and did work. We got the best of y'all, but shout out to Jared Verse. He came in here and did work, so respect to him. But we got what y'all running backs. We got what Matthew Stafford. We shut down Puka Nacua. We did what we had to do the last time y'all was here. And no, y'all not the same team that we saw early in the year. Neither are we. That's the way it works. Everybody likes to look at it one-sided. That's not the team. That's not the Rams team y'all saw earlier in the year. They better. Well, hell, so are we. You don't think our defense is better now? Jordan Davis is coming to his own. Jalen Carter's coming back. Oh, by the way, Moro Jomo's still balling. Jalen Hunt is still balling. You didn't even see Jalen Phillips. Cooper DeJean is Pro Bowl. Quinyon is Pro Bowl. Jordan Davis should have been Pro Bowl. Nakobe Dean should have been Pro Bowl. Defense is talented. The best thing y'all should do, and I ain't giving out no secrets because I know they looking at it like this too. If they were smart, they would go after Adoree Jackson every chance they got. And that's the game plan that they probably going to run. Adoree Jackson has still been playing well, and he's still the weak link in that defensive secondary. Film don't lie. So, nah, man. Rod, I would agree to disagree, bro. It would be on the defense is Verse. On the offense, I would say it's obviously you're gonna say Stafford, but I would give it to Puka Nacua. Because when that dude gets hands on the ball, things happen. He is a playmaker. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Let them make plays. Let them make plays. So the reason why I got to give Verse his props is because he going up against Lane Johnson and was doing work. He was going up against Jordan Mailata and was doing work. Ain't nothing you can say about that. Film don't lie. And we still managed to, he got us 2 sacks and hurries, and he did what a playmaker is supposed to do. However, we also did what we were supposed to do. We still held him at bay long enough and enough times to where we could get the job done. Jalen Hurts can get out of the pocket, can get the ball released on time and on target. We still got it done and did what we had to do. I ain't scared of nobody. Not bother me. That's what you got to do. You just got to find who they playmakers are. If we take Puka Nacua out of the game, you got a whole nother game plan that you got to deal with. But I'm not stupid. Easier said than done. Why you think Puka Nacua is as good as he is? Puka Nacua, if he doesn't get hurt, will be a perennial Pro Bowler going forward. Watch. He will be a perennial Pro Bowler going forward. He is at the beginning of a Hall of Fame career, and all they got to do is just keep giving him the ball. You ain't got to go deep with him. He is the type of playmaker that all you got to do is get the ball in your hands. It don't matter if it's a deep ball across the middle, a screen, a jet sweep. Get the ball in his hands because he finds a way to make plays. Y'all got a player like that. We got a player like that. We got 3 players like that. We got 4 players like that. We got a tight end that can't run at all, but you can't stop him. We got a receiver that weighs 175 and you can't stop him. We got another one that weighs 225 and goes across the middle. And even when you know he's going across the middle, you can't stop him. We got a quarterback that when he decides to pull a ball away and run around the edge, you can't stop him. Oh, and by the way, he throws the best deep ball in the NFL. And after you're done with all of that, then you got to look at the defense. Mind you, I ain't even mentioned Saquon. I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared of the Rams. Bring it. Y'all got to come to 190, come down 195. You got to fly in the Philadelphia airport. Hey, bring it. Better bring the noise. Bring the noise. The best thing I give the Rams props for was last year. They played a very good game in bad weather. And I didn't expect that from a West Coast team. That was the most surprising thing. The weather was no advantage for us. But guess what? I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Ain't nobody scary. Nobody. Everybody got warts, man. Everybody got warts. We still the leader of the pack because we coming from the mountaintop. We trying to get back there. We know how the land is a little bit. We know how the terrain is laid out because we were just there. So that gives us an advantage. We know how to handle the playoffs and we know what to do. We were just there. So that gives us just a little bit of a benefit. But I'm not going to sit here and brag like we just got it handled and we got it in the bag. Hell no. Every game is a season. And after seeing what I'm seeing right now, listen, give them these last 2 weeks off. Let Tanner McKee start against Buffalo and against Washington. I know he's going to start against Washington. Ain't no starters playing against Washington. Tank Bigsby going to have a day in Washington. But we got to go up and do what we got to do in Buffalo in the bad weather, in the snowstorm, and all of that kind of stuff, man. We're going to leave with a bag, with an order of 40 Buffalo wings to go, man. Do what you got to do. So, hey, if you scared, get a dog, man. Oh, Chris, I ain't been on too long, man. I just popped on when I was at the end of the Texans game. It was like maybe 3 minutes left in the Texans game when I popped on. I wasn't even planning on doing this. I be going, it's so funny because my numbers jump up when I don't plan it. if I just jump on like very impromptu and this was very haphazard. I wasn't planning it. I created the room and did the thumbnail in like 2 minutes. That was it. That was it. Did the thumbnail in 2 minutes. So, we gotta handle what we can handle, man. Let me see. What does that say? Somebody just saw something. I wanted to. What does it say? Oh, Rams have never beaten Sirianni and Hurts. Could they change that? Sure, but the record is the record. That is true. But I do not fall in line with all of that. To me, as a former player, that type of stuff is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that has no relevance on how the Rams or the Eagles are playing at this particular time, at this particular moment. It has no bearing on any of that. It's not true. It's not false. That is 100% correct. That's 100% true. But I'm not going to go into a game talking to my team like they ain't never beat us. So they have trouble beating Hurts and Sirianni. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing in my book. So that's great for stats. But as far as getting ready for the game, each game is its own season. And that's what we are. We got to handle business for the next 2 weeks. And then we're in the playoffs. Then we got to take care of it. Because remember, everybody is one play away. It was some bad injuries in the Texans game. It was some bad injuries this past week. Y'all just saw just what just happened to what's his name, Zach Ertz. And you see, like, we are one play away from glory or ruin. One play away, and you have to be ready for anything. Jalen Carter, arguably one of the strongest people on the team, couldn't do a push-up a couple days ago until he had his procedure and was working through it. That means his shoulders couldn't handle his body weight. Whatever he had done, that's something that you got to take into consideration. Am I expecting him to come in? I don't know what my expectations are. I don't know what happened to him, and I don't know how bad it was. That's the key. We looking at Cam Jurgens, and we heard all year his back was hurt. Then it was his heel or his Achilles or whatever it was hurt. Cam Jurgens ain't been the same. Cam Jurgens has not played like he played last year at all. Last year, he was hurt. Dickerson started at center. Dickerson got hurt. Cam Jurgens came in with a busted back and played magnificent. So when you can grit it out and you can play like that, that is okay and acceptable. But gritting it out and you looking like a turnstile, that doesn't help nobody. Doesn't help anybody. So I don't know what the situation is with Brett Toth. Why Jeff Stoutland won't put Brett Toth in at center. The one time he played center, I thought he played relatively well. That was one of our best rushing games of the year. So he's a hell of a lot better at center than he is at guard. Brett Toth is. So, but this is one of those situations where I got to throw my hands up. Like, Jeff Stoutland knows what he's doing. We can't have the best offensive line in the National Football League last year, and then all of a sudden Jeff Stoutland just forgot how to coach. All of a sudden Vic Fangio just forgot how to call the defense. No. So this is where you gotta hands off and you gotta trust the process. I'm not gonna put myself too much into it because they are in meetings and they watch a film every day. And this is the one thing I say to people, and people tend to forget this a lot. They don't want to lose. Sirianni don't want to lose. Patullo don't want to lose. Jalen don't want to lose. Fangio don't want to lose. Stoutland don't want to lose. Big Dom don't want to lose. Don't nobody want to lose. So when they coming into practice, why you think practices at this part of the season, why do you think practices are so short and very nondescript, shoulder pads and helmets, or helmets and jerseys, and just it's very light. Everything is saving your body. Everything is saving your body. You need mental reps. You need to know, see, recognize everything that's going on by that defense or by that offense so you know where to go. And then when it's time to make that happen, your body knows what to do. At this point, ain't really too much else to learn. You just got to figure out what they're going to come with in the playoffs. Because every now and then, somebody will throw a wrinkle in that they haven't used all year, and they just been waiting. This is when they catch you off guard, because now it's win or go home. Jordan damn near killed himself trying to chase down Josh Allen in the 2023 game. Yes, he might be in shape enough to catch him. I remember that play. He sold out on that play, got him out of bounds, and he was no more good for the rest of the game. He was on E after that play. If you remember that, I know he came back in the game, but he didn't do anything of consequence for the rest of that game. He sold out. You are 100% correct. He damn near killed himself. He was on E after that play. It took him a while to get to the sideline. I remember that play, but he made the play. Got him out of bounds. I believe that was a third and long play. So I remember that play. Yeah, man. Dan Campbell. Another Jet 2 holiday. Detroit package. Cancun. They got the 4th down suite. Well, we'll see. But hey, Dan Campbell, window closed. What am I watching right now? CBS. Oh, this is 2023 week 12 on CBS. Good Lord. I'm watching NFL Network. What time does the other game come on? Isn't that on Peacock or something? The holiday exclusive. I was trying to watch that on my Oculus. Oh, okay. Lord of Ravens versus Packers on Peacock. You are entering a third party out. Here we go. See, yeah. See, this is the dumb shit they do. Peacock. Who the hell's got? Why do I gotta log in to Peacock? But that's where it's going these days. The networks are losing, so they gotta, it's pay for play. It's pay for play. Jen, usually what they do is you can sign up for Peacock and then just sign up for a month, and it might run you $10 and then just cancel it at the end of the month. That's what I did last time. Remember they had it was a game during the regular season that was on Peacock. It was a Chiefs game, and I was like, I ain't paying for that. And you know what? I ended up paying for it. This was like, I ain't gonna miss the game. So I ended up, and that's what they do. They give you at least they did last time. They gave you a deal where you could sign up for like $10. And the logic is, if you sign up, you'll forget about it and forget to cancel it. So how many thousands and thousands of people do you realize are forgetting to cancel it? They signed up for it, they just forgot about it. It's $10 or whatever. That's so they win. Yeah, Peacock is NBC, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Just another money grab. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I can't get mad at them because I can say no. I can say no. So there are a bunch of good streamers on YouTube that do play-by-play. Yeah, I do play-by-play. I do play-by-play sometimes. I want to figure out a way how to do play-by-play with my MetaQuest. I'm still trying to figure out how to use some of this stuff. And now I'm trying to figure out, I got to upgrade my system to Windows 11. And it's telling me my computer don't have the right components. And I'm like, I ain't buying a damn computer. I'll be Windows 10, till the cows come home if that's the case. So, but yeah, NFL Red Zone, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I used to have like the Cody thing where you could get like 8 bajillion channels or whatever, but that ain't no good. Yeah, I've heard that Windows is trash, but I know. Listen, man, don't. I used to work for Apple, so I know how this works. Do you have to do an upgrade? No. But what happens is eventually and over time, companies make software and apps. I shouldn't even call it software anymore. Companies make apps for the new operating systems. They're not making it for the old systems anymore. So you're right. The upgrades and the new operating systems, they might be trash, but if all of the apps are geared towards the new stuff, you got to make that move. So, and I got the notice to do that like 2 years ago, and I just haven't done it. And then now we're at the point where Windows doesn't support Windows 10 anymore. I done got 8 bajillion notices like that. Like, hey, you need to upgrade to Windows 11 because we don't support Windows 10 anymore. So if anything happens, you're on your own. So, but honestly, I think after my experience with this PC, and I love the PC, I built it. It's had everything I do, and this thing is still a workhorse. Don't get it twisted. But I will say this: I love this PC, but there's nothing like having a Mac because Macs just work. I had Macs before I worked for Apple. And then with my experience, with my 9 years working for Apple and seeing people come through the door with the issues they have, and it's like the one thing you can say about Macs, no, you can't take it apart and put your own shit in there. But when you turn on the Mac, that bitch work. Period. Now, if it screws up, usually it's a you problem. If your Mac has issues, it's you. That's what I used to tell them in the store. They used to laugh at me. Like, yeah, if your iPhone or your Mac has issues, it's you. So don't be coming in here and mad at the phone because you don't know what your Apple ID is. And the last time you backed up was 3 years ago when you was down at the shore. Come on now. What you want us to do in 20 minutes at the mall? Stop playing with me. Q, that's what I got. My company, because I work from home and I do graphic design, 3D animation, and all that kind of stuff, they bought me a Mac. They bought me a Mac Pro, the latest one, and I got a big 35-inch widescreen monitor. So yeah, I got the hookup, bro. You know what? I've heard that before, but I've never had a problem with my Mac overheating. Never. And the stuff that I'm running Blender, I'm running Unreal Engine, I'm running Adobe, I'm running if anybody does any this graphic design or layout work, if you've ever used InDesign, Adobe InDesign is a hog. We use InDesign to lay out our catalog. And that was a memory hog, but I don't ever remember my Macs overheating, not one time. This thing sound like you on a damn airboat because I got 9 fans in here to keep it cool and all of that type of stuff. I got the lit fans with the, you know me. I gotta have the lights and the water cooler for the processor. It's got the digital display I can change. I just put an Eagles logo on it, and I ain't changed it in years. I bought it originally because I was supposed to be able to play animations on it, and it never worked that way. So if I ever get another one, maybe I'll do that. But like I said, it's something to be said for the Macs, bro. I ain't mean to be like have a damn Apple commercial, but trying to keep it a buck. I remember playing Oregon Trail on that Clay Brown Mac back in the school. You had the Apple II. You had the Apple IIe. You had the Apple IIe. We had I learned on the Apple IIc, and then let me see. Me and my sister were freshmen in 1984. My dad bought us the Apple IIc. It looked like a little briefcase. It was a little white briefcase, and then it came with a separate monitor, like a green and white monitor, monochrome monitor. So yes, we played Oregon Trail. I played Transylvania. I was real big into adventure games. What's up, Nina? Appreciate you. Never late. Never late. You always on time and where you're supposed to be. Um, we had my uncle, rest in peace, Uncle David. My uncle was the one that got me into video games because my uncle was a brainiac. My uncle used to be the one. Everybody got that person in their family that's super smart. My uncle used to try to teach me how to play chess, and I mean, I was a kid and I just couldn't. It wasn't clicking yet. But he had one of those early. Remember the Atari computers? Remember Atari had its own computer? He had an Atari computer, and he had what was that game? The first video game I ever played. It was Ulysses and the Golden Fleece. And he let me play it, but he told me. He pulled out all of this paper and all of this kind of stuff. I was like, what is this? It was an adventure game, and back then you had to make maps. And it was a basic map. You make a square. This is where your character is. And you had north, south, east, and west. It was either up, back, left, or right. And every time you went forward, you made a new box, and you would write notes on what was in that box. And eventually, over time, you would make a map so you can remember where you went and all of that kind of stuff. And I remember I watched him play. Then he let me play. Then I started making my own maps. And then when my dad got us that PC, I went and bought Transylvania, which was another adventure game, same type deal. You had to do your own map. I even tried to write my own video game. Now, mind you, this is 1985. I tried to program a game in basic language because I couldn't. The only other language I was learning was Fortran, and I just couldn't understand that. And I say that to this day. I wish I would have had somebody as a kid who could have taught me how to program in a way that I understood it. Let me say it like that. I wish I would have had somebody who could have taught me programming in a way that I could have understood it. So because I programmed the game in BASIC, and I had a little map. I did graphics and everything. It was called the Black Arrow. It was called the Black Arrow. And you had to, it was the dragon that was attacking this city, and you had to go in the city, find the key to go in the dungeon to find the Black Arrow, and the Black Arrow was the only thing that could kill the dragon. Didn't get that far, but I did have a town built, and I think I got it to the point where I could go about like a 5x5 grid and go in different directions. Like it was a house here, go in the house, all of that type of stuff. So, shoot, this was in 85. No, DOS was the operating system, bro. DOS was the operating system. That wasn't the programming language. DOS is what Windows turned into. DOS was your OS. And then you programmed in BASIC or COBOL or Fortran. Oh, who just went down? Somebody just landed on somebody's legs. Is he getting up off or is he hurt? He getting up slow. No, number 7. Who was that? Number 2? I can't tell. I think that was 22 for the Ravens. But yeah, man, DOS was the operating system. Yep. You had to type in everything. You had to write the code. You had to bring up the catalog. The catalog would tell you everything that was loaded on the computer. And then you literally had to type in run program, and whatever the name was, that's what you typed in instead of running program. So C colon, D colon, all your hard drives, all that. Listen, man, I'm old school, bro. I'm old school. DOS was just, listen, I'm the first computer I ever used had a 7-inch disc, 7.5-inch disc. Then it dropped down to 5 1/4. Then it dropped down to the 3.5 floppies. So when I was in high school, we were at 5 1/4. But I remember The first computer I ever used, I was doing that. This is how far I go back. I was doing graphic arts in high school. That was my first job ever. I worked at my high school for my graphic arts teacher, and we would do. He hired a bunch of students, and we had a really nice graphic arts department. We had AB Dick Press. I did the thing where I had to put the ink on the roller where it rolled on the thing, and then it rotated, and you had to take the envelopes out one by one and print. We would print um, the school address and stuff on the envelopes, and we had to take them out one by one. And it took you like an hour to do 100, and hope you didn't miss. Had to use the AB Dick Press. I learned how to set type. We had a huge cabinet with nothing but different types, it literally looked like somebody had broken off the ends of typewriters. That's what type was. And you put them in between pieces of lead to close them together. And then you had to write the word. You had to set the type and write the words and hope you didn't misspell nothing. And then you put that on the ink roller. The ink would roll over the type, and then you had this machine that would smash it to the paper or to the envelopes, and that's how you printed on stuff. That was my first job because I was already in graphic design. We knew how to take pictures and develop film. We still develop film. There was nothing digital. The very first Macintosh computer I ever used was in that graphic arts department in 1984, and it was a computer that sat literally almost a foot and a half. It was that big. It was about a foot and a half high, and the only thing it did was had all of these different fonts on it. It had like 100 different fonts. At that time was ridiculous. And then it would print out the font. And even the computers, when it printed it out, there was a developmental process. So it was laser sharp. And then we would burn a electrostatic plate, put it on the AB Dick Press, roll them out. And that's when you got fancy. If you wanted to do cursive and all that kind of stuff, you had to put that on the AB Dick Press, burn an electrostatic plate, put the plate on, launch it in, gum it up. Oh man, dude, I'm old school, bro. I'm old school. Gutenberg Press. Yeah, you damn right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It was I think it was called Daisy Wheel. I think it was called a Daisy Wheel press. I'm sitting there looking at a picture. No, it wasn't the Gutenberg. The Gutenberg was the original joint. Oh my God. Nah, let me see. Ink press. It was just a regular. There we go. Let me see if I can. There we go. Let me let y'all in on this so you can laugh at me. Let me see if I can find a better picture. That's a good picture of it. There we go. Oh, this is on what you call it? There we go. Check out my man right here. Check out my man right here. That's what we did right there. You got the rollers on top. You put the ink on the wheel, and that roller at the top would this roller right here is going to roll over, roll it back down, and it's going to spread the ink over the whole wheel. And you see when the three rollers roll down, straight down, right here. See this thing right here, the yellow thing? That's where you put the paper at. And you had to stick your hand in there. And you see that thing jet up? That's the safety. That kicks your hand out so you don't get your fingers smashed. Because if for some reason your fingers are in there, that's a wrap. You see the ink spreading out? Yeah, that's what I learned graphic arts on. That printer right there. And all it did was one color. So you did black, or you did red, or you did green. It wasn't mixing colors. It was one. And then when you were done, you had to clean the ink up off the thing. You had to clean the ink up off the wheel, off the rollers. You had to wipe all of that stuff down by hand. Yep. I think this was called a Chandler press, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he doing this thing down here, one at a time, bro. One at a time. Yeah, man. Back in the day, bro. Back in the day. So when I say I'm old school, that's exactly what I mean. And then let me see. Let me see if they electrostatic press, AB Dick press. I don't know. There we go. Yep. AB Dick press. So that's the one where you would burn a plate. And that's when you got fancy. If you burned a plate, and that's how people would do posters and all that kind of stuff. Because you would like sometimes you would have to burn 2 or 3 different plates for the colors, almost like how they do t-shirts now, where they do 4 and 5 color t-shirts, and the thing rotates around, and you get yellow, green, red. You get the RGB colors, and then that all mixes up, and you get a full color 4-color shirt. Same thing, except you had to do plates, and you would put the plates vertical, and you would have the notches in, and you had to lock them notches in so they wouldn't move. So you had to make sure that if you changed the color of ink, the plate didn't move, or you would have a blurry image. You'd have ghosts on your image. So it's crazy. Yeah, I think the thing popped out again. My microphone moved. Sorry about that. So yeah, man. That's like I said, man, that was 1984. I took the 2 classes I took in high school. I took 3 years of graphic design, of graphic arts, and 4 years of graphic design, or 4 years of graphic arts, and 3 years of architecture. We had an architecture program. So I was always into design and all of that type of stuff. I thought about double majoring in college, like doing graphic arts or mechanical design and architecture. I thought about doing that, but ain't no way I could have done that shit and play football. Hell no. What's going on, man? Mr. Ralph Follerin. What's going on, Ralph? Ain't nothing going on, man. We talking about these games. I went on a tangent about graphic design and computers back in the 80s. So we've been all over the place, bro. We've been all over the place watching this Peacock game, talking about the playoffs, talking about all these teams in Cancun. So yeah. But we getting there, man. We getting there. I can't wait for this game to, let's get this over with. Let's get this over with. Are we now our game is Thursday, I believe, right? Teams news. Where's the schedule? Where's the schedule? Where's the schedule? Cut. Let me fade. Make it a little softer. All right. Team schedule. Philadelphia Eagles. Week 1, we get all right. Week 16, we played the Commanders. Week 17, so we are. Oh, so we play tomorrow. Okay. I don't know why I thought we played Thursday. Let me see. To be determined. Week 18 is not even announced. I did not realize that. Our week 18 game against the Commanders is flexed. So they haven't given that's going to depend on where we what happens. So yep. As my man Tone just contacted me. I gotta get this I gotta get the room together for our show tomorrow. So our game tomorrow's at 4:30, 4:25. So me and Tone will be on tomorrow at 11 a.m. So Bald Eagles podcast at 11. So yep. I see that, Dave. So we're gonna be flexed. And the starters ain't playing in that game, so it's all good. So I think I'm gonna order some Buffalo Bills, some hot wings tomorrow. And we're gonna get it on. Week 18 is Sunday only. You're probably right. Isn't it amazing that we are here already? Oh, Baltimore scored. I'm not even paying attention. Baltimore scored 7-0. Did Lamar's not even playing? And Malik Willis, man, you know what? I'm kind of rooting for Malik Willis because I think Malik was in that same situation. Like, hell, kind of like Cam Ward is now. He didn't have nothing in front of him. Like Justin Fields. Can you imagine if Justin Fields would have had a real coach? I felt bad because they just left Justin Fields. They hung Justin Fields out to dry. He had that horrible coach in Chicago. They didn't get him any players. And then they get rid of him, bring in a new coach, draft another quarterback, and now you're having success. And it's like, you could have did that with the guy you drafted in the first place. That's a shame. Yeah, Lamar and Love are both out. So this is Malik Willis and who? Tyler Huntley? Is that who's starting? Oh, good throw. Great pass, Malik. Malik getting him a job. Malik Willis is auditioning for a job. And isn't it funny, and I say this all the time, isn't it funny how much better people look when they get a competent coach and a competent team around them? People were saying Malik Willis was a bust. Remember that? They're saying he was a bust. But isn't it amazing when you get somebody that can coach him up, when they give him time to develop and learn the offense? Look at that. That was a perfect throw right down the middle. Great job by Malik Willis. Great throw. Great throw. So it was crazy. It was crazy. Isn't it funny how that works out, though? Great throw by Malik Willis, man. He is auditioning for a job. He is definitely auditioning for a job. So we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, he didn't fare very well in Tennessee, but they didn't have nothing there. Look at what Cam Ward is doing. Is Cam Ward considered a bust? Because this is his rookie year. Like people forget this fact. All right, let me remind people of this. And I'm taking two of the best to ever do it. You look at Troy Aikman, and then you look at Manning. You look at Peyton Manning when he was with the Colts, and then Peyton Manning when he went to Denver. And Peyton Manning was he struggled his first 3 years in with the Colts. He broke the record for rookie interceptions, I believe, at the time. He threw like 18 picks his rookie year, but they knew he was a developmental process. So they told him, he's like, yo, let it loose, let it go. We know you're going to make mistakes. Go ahead and let it go. Troy Aikman did the same thing. Troy Aikman had like 15, something like that. Troy Aikman's rookie year was not good either. And Troy Aikman, he didn't turn it around until Michael Irvin showed up. His rookie year was when? 89? 89. Passing, regular season. Career splits. 6-time Pro Bowler. I'm trying to find. I want to find his yearly. I think he threw 89. I do not like these ads. Well, this used to be a lot easier to figure it out. Troy Aikman overview. There we go. 89 was his rookie year. He threw 18 picks. His first 2 years, he threw 18 picks. He threw 9 touchdowns and 18 picks. Then he threw 11 touchdowns and 18 picks. Then he threw 11 touchdowns and 10 picks. Then he threw 23 touchdowns and 14 picks. And I believe 91 and 92, I believe that's when Michael Irvin showed up. But he still threw 14 picks. And I'm using him as an example because he's a Hall of Famer. But his first 3-4 years, he was on the struggle bus too. And these days, people forget how to develop quarterbacks. It's not easy. It is not easy to develop quarterbacks. What's up, Tiff? 1 in 15, absolutely. He went through the ringer. What was Peyton's? Peyton's wasn't much better. Peyton may have been worse. Peyton may have been worse. Peyton went to the Pro Bowl 14 times, y'all. That's damn ridiculous. Let me see. Peyton came out in 98, right? Peyton threw his rookie year, 26 touchdowns, 28 picks. 28 picks. And they played less games. They only played 16 games. He threw 28 picks. Then the next year in 99, he threw 15. This is his interceptions. 88, 98, he threw 28. 99, he threw 15. 2000, he threw 15. 2001, he threw 23. And 2002, he threw 19. He only had one season. He only had one season. 2006. He played the full year. He only had one season where he didn't throw double-digit interceptions. One. And he in the Hall of Fame. So I don't think people understand what a real quarterback does, what they go through, and what they did when you had time to develop. Everybody want Jalen. You got to make a decision on what you want. Everybody want Jalen to not turn the ball over. Peyton Manning was one of the best to ever do it. And look at how many picks he threw. He threw 251 interceptions for a career. 251 compared to the 539 touchdowns. Right? You let them develop, though. They don't do that these days. They want instant. They want add water and shake. They want instant Shador. They want instant Cam Ward. They want instant Mendoza when he comes out. They want instant Bo Nix. They want instant what's your boy Michael Penix. They want everybody to be good right now, and it does not work that way. They want an instant Dillon Gabriel. It don't work. There is no reason why Dillon Gabriel can't be a productive quarterback in the NFL. Given about 3 years. Because that's how long it takes. You got to let somebody play and take their lumps. Nobody wants to do that no more because the turnover time is so big, and they don't develop quarterbacks in college no more. The quarterbacks coming out of college are horrible because they don't learn nothing. They run these crazy offenses that are not pro-style offenses. They don't know how to read a defense. They learn how to read half a field, and they got 1 and 2 read offenses. You read one guy. If one guy does this, if he drops back in the zone, throw here. If he runs man-to-man coverage, then throw over there. And it ain't working. So the learning curve goes up with all of these kids coming into the pros. And you see they falling out. Somebody said something before. I'm trying to remember who said this. And you go back and you look. Most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, if you have what am I trying to say? If you have a quarterback that's a highly regarded quarterback, but he's only had one good year. His senior year, he threw for a bunch of yards. Now, all of a sudden, he's a Heisman candidate and he's a pro prospect, blah, 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 blah. If he's only had one good year, more likely, by the time he gets into the pros, he ain't going to last too long because he ain't had enough time to get his feet wet. That's what happened to your boy in Indianapolis when they got rid of him. And when that was an extreme example, because I had never seen that before. It's not too many times where I see somebody in the NFL do something and I can say I have never seen that before. When Anthony Richardson tapped himself out, I have never seen that before. And he will never recover. Never. If Anthony Richardson comes back and is a productive quarterback in the NFL, count me as totally and 100% surprised. When you take yourself out of the game, when you the quarterback and QB1 of your franchise, when you were the number 1 pick and you take yourself out of the game, you lose all respect from every one of your teammates in that locker room. Never again can you consider yourself a leader of men when you take yourself out. And you the QB? Nah, bro. Can't do that. Can't do that. Especially when you ain't hurt, you just tired. Oh, you can't do that. At least Cam made it. Cam made it to the top. Cam made it to the Super Bowl. Now, he was never the same after he lost it. But he made it. Cam was braggadocious, and Cam Newton is everything that they fear Shador might be. That's what Cam was. Cam wouldn't shut up. He had a loud mouth. He was 6'5". He could throw the ball a country mile. He was fast as hell. He could read a defense. He could do everything that they thought black quarterbacks couldn't do. And he was loud about it. Then, when he got to the ultimate game, he put up a dud. They was ready for him. And he ain't know how to handle it. That's the mental games. The mental games. That's why, in my opinion, that's what makes Jalen Hurts so much better. Can you imagine if Cam Newton had the personality like a Jalen Hurts? Can you imagine if Jalen Hurts was 4 inches taller and could throw the ball 20 yards further? Same speed. I think Cam was maybe a little bit faster than Jalen. And just as strong. I don't think Cam could squat 605 pounds. But Cam was a special. Like, I don't think people Everybody get caught up in the shtick that Cam Newton is now. But when Cam was playing, are you serious? You can't. And it's funny. That's how much Cam has been knocked off that perch because people now are so sick of hearing Cam Newton's mouth that they forget how good that dude was. Cam Newton was the truth. They knew where he was going with the ball, and they still couldn't stop him. Cam Newton was 6'5", running away from DBs, fast ones. Cam Newton was crazy good. And he got all the way to the game, and they game planned him. And they had a good one. And he didn't have an answer for it. And then after he gave that press conference and didn't want to talk, that was the mental aspect of it is what brought him down to earth. His mental is what brought him down to earth. I understand that you don't like losing and you don't want to talk to nobody, but if sore loser is in the dictionary, there's a picture of Cam Newton after that Super Bowl. And I know he didn't want to talk to nobody, but that's the gig. That's the job. And that's the stuff that people want to dismiss with QB1. The people want to dismiss it like it don't matter. It does. He said he was going to get back, and he did. Cam Newton never made it back. And again, people forget how supremely difficult it is to get to a Super Bowl. And people forget how doubly supremely difficult it is to get back to another one. And that's when I go back and I look at John Elway, and I look at Peyton Manning, and I look at all them other quarterbacks that got Steve Young. Does Steve Young have? I think Steve Young had one behind Joe Montana. But Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, like we look at it now like, ugh, I'm sick of Tom Brady. I'm sick of Patrick Mahomes. But like, do y'all realize what it takes to get back? Do you realize the Buffalo Bills went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls and they lost all 4? But they went to 4 in a row. They lost, 2 because of kickers? They went to 4 in a row. Do y'all know how hard that is? 4 in a row. That was wild. That was wild. Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, Andre Reed, Jim Kelly. Do y'all know how crazy that is? They lost, but still, you went back 4 times in a row? Come on, son. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, you know what we need, man? We need some. You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going, dog. We need some wings. We need some wings. Gotta flap them wings. We gliding to the NFC East. We gliding to the playoffs. Uh-oh. Another person down. Another injury. Riley for the Green Bay Packers. Listen, man. You gotta stay healthy. That's why I don't know if I want to play anybody these last 2 games. I know a lot of people talking about you need to play them. We need everybody healthy. We need everybody healthy. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Yo, before Bo Jackson, it was Bo Jackson, it was Walter Payton, and it was Thurman Thomas on Tecmo Bowl. And I think Thurman Thomas was one of them. Walter Payton and Thurman Thomas was one of them players on Madden. The first iteration of Madden. When Madden came out, I believe that was 1989. Thurman Thomas was a problem. Walter Payton was a problem. Go ahead and start Fred. Fred who? No way. Oh, you talking about Landon Dickerson? If you're talking about Landon, listen. I can't argue with you, bro. I can't argue with you. I think we still have an opportunity to move up to number 2. It depends on what the numbers do. So if by the time tomorrow comes around, I think we can still make up some ground if we win tomorrow. I think that's the logic. I could be wrong, but I think that's the logic. Tanner McKee, listen, I want to see Tanner McKee play against Washington. So, yeah, we got to see. We got to see. So, yep. Yeah, Thurman Thomas was. Yeah, he don't get a lot of he don't get the respect he should get that he deserves. Thurman Thomas was nasty. Thermal was nasty. Like, I don't think a lot of people remember Thurman Thomas, Eric Metcalf with the Browns. Eric Metcalf was the guy that made being a return specialist a thing. Eric Metcalf was that good. Before Devin Hester played in Chicago. And Devin Hester was probably the best return guy I've ever seen in my life. And they still didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Devin Hester was nasty. I've seen some come close, but they couldn't stay on the field. Devin Hester was nasty. What's the dude that used to play for the Chiefs? They used to call him the video game. What's his name? It was a receiver. He was so good. Like, you get was it Dante Hall? Dante Hall? Devin Hester was woof. Eagles need to win their final 2 games, and Chicago Bears must lose both of their remaining games. Okay, I got you. Good looking out for that Philly game day. Good looking out for that. So, Dante Hall, yeah, he was the human. He was like a joystick, man. His moves were. He was Tyreek Hill way before Tyreek Hill. Way before Tyreek Hill. And that's why I said this the other day. Like, when I see like KaVontae Turpin and what he did when KaVontae Turpin got that ball and did that spin move after fumbling the ball, I said, damn. It's like, golly. And just took off down the middle, split everybody and left them. So, trying to think who else. Who else was Metcalf? Trying to think somebody else. Holmes, yeah. Turpin is the truth, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I watched Turpin in the XFL. Like I said this before the other day. I always gonna have respect for Turpin because me being a veteran of the World League and then seeing his journey in the XFL, I'm like, bro, that's what you want. You took your shot and you made the most of it. And then you look at somebody like Turpin, and how come he had to go in the XFL? Like, ask questions like that. How come KaVontae Turpin doing what he's doing with Dallas? How come he had to go in the XFL? How come nobody recognized his speed early? Dave Meggett, that's a great one. That's a great one. That is a great one. But Turpin, how come nobody recognized his speed? He been the same speed since college. So, I don't understand that. And that's why I always go back to, like, when you look at the situations like you look at the Eagles during the Chip Kelly days, and you look at what the Cowboys have been doing the last decade and a half. You look at all of these teams. You look at what the Browns are doing. It's like, how can you miss so many times when it's right in front of your face? How does that happen? How does that happen? How do you miss so many times when everybody in the front office, when y'all getting paid to be the smartest men in the room, and clearly you are not? How does everybody miss? Because when you watch something for yourself and you're looking for a certain thing, your biases tend to come out. And when your bias leads your thought process, you're ineffective. You're ineffective. It's the same thing I used to tell these kids. I used to make a little extra money back in the day. I used to hustle um DVDs. So I would go to this. I was good friends with these people at this gym. It was a sports performance. All the high school kids come and they train, and we had track runners, and Olympic athletes, and NFL players, all this kind of stuff. Right. So I used to go there all the time, and they knew that I used to play for the Eagles and all of that kind of stuff. And I used to do highlight tapes. So the parents would come in. Now, mind you, this was back before YouTube was the thing and all this. So we going back a couple years. So they used to bring tapes, and I used to make a highlight tape. Right. But I used to try to tell people colleges don't want to see a highlight tape. They don't want to see all your best plays against sorry players. They don't want to see 10 minutes worth of 30+ yard runs and touchdowns and one-handed catches and all of that kind of stuff. What they want to see is how do you function against your best competition? What they want to see is how do you function when you just got your ass kicked? What's your personality? What's your demeanor on the team? What do you like in the locker room? What do you like on the sideline if you messed up, if you fumbled the ball or if you dropped the pass? What's your demeanor like on the sideline? That's what people want to see. But I would try to tell parents that, and they looking at their kid with rose-colored glasses. I had very few parents that wanted to hear what I had to say. And they knew I played in the league. But all they want to do is they want to see their kid. They want to tell their kid he scored this touchdown, he scored this touchdown. And I remember this one guy, his son was like a big 6'4" senior offensive tackle. And he looked like he was soft as a Pillsbury Doughboy. But he brought me like 10 to 15 tapes with nothing but his son pancaking people. I'm like, they don't want to see that. You're not showing them no competition. So, and I say all that to say people get their bias and they stick with them biases, which is why everybody bailed on Justin Fields, which is why there's still people to this day that still think Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. There's still people to this day that still think Shedeur Sanders can't play, and they would rather have Dylan Gabriel. It's still people, because of those biases, people that get paid a lot of money sat in a room, watched film on Dylan Gabriel, and said, yes, I want that guy to be my franchise quarterback. Sometimes the people you pay to be the smartest guys in the room aren't. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Yeah, man. I used to have to do it the hard way. The splicing, and before it was digital, before it was what they used to call it. What they used to call it. Before back in the day when you used to edit, you used to have to edit in sequence. Because you couldn't, like now everything is digital, so you can edit something in the front, then go back, edit something in the back, then say, oh, I want to change the front again and go back to the front. You could go back and forth. Non-linear editing didn't exist. You had to do it in order. And if you screwed up at the end, you either lived with it, cut it out, or had to start all over. That's what you had to do. Non-linear editing was not a thing yet. So again, just like I had that conversation about the graphic arts, I came up the hard way. Oh, Lord. Somebody just got ran over. Yeah, you had to have copies. Yeah. We did it the hard way. People suck at their jobs. Well, yeah, it's like here's how I look at it. It's like the guy or the girl in your group. You had a group of 4, and you all had to meet in the library to do the book report. And there's always one person in the group that doesn't want to do any work. And that's the person that has to get up and read it in front of the class. So they don't know what they're talking about because they didn't do any work. So what do they have to do? They got to fake it till they make it. But it's in those situations, it's quite evident that that person didn't do the material. It's quite evident. So, but it continues to happen. It continues to happen. Yo, Turpin was the MVP that year. That was 3-4 years ago. He was the MVP. So, Baltimore 3rd and goal. They're getting points out of this. What are they going to do? All right, snap back, drops back, looking, avoids one, throws it, picked off. Nope, incomplete. I thought Tyler Huntley was going to run with it. They got another injury. Zay Flowers is down, and that was an ugly collision. He should have ran with it. Oh nah. Oh, they ran into each other. It was like 3 guys that ran into each other. They banged knees, didn't they? Boop, boop, boop. Flowers. Yep. Flowers got hit in the hip. Somebody ran the wrong route. That's what that was. Somebody ran the wrong route. Yes, I did see that. That was with Steve Mariucci, I believe. Was it Steve? No, Steve Mariucci, or was that the one with John Gruden? I couldn't remember. It may have been the one with Gruden. So, but yeah, I saw it. He knows his stuff. That was my biggest issue with Shedeur. But I can't put that on Shedeur because you got to deal with personalities. You don't deal with the person. So the problem with Shedeur is all these owners and all these teams wanted him to come in there and be like the yes sir, no sir, and that's not Shedeur. And when you're not like that, doesn't mean you're disrespectful, but people will take it as such. So, yeah, we can't afford to lose him. I'm with you on that. So we got it going. What is this? Oh, that's a commercial. I'm about to say. But anyways, see, that's a misnomer. That's a misnomer with Shedeur. And the reason I say that is because they said the same thing about Jalen. They said the same thing about Jalen. He holds the ball too long. He throws the ball when they're open, and he doesn't throw them open. And when he started throwing the ball away, that's when he had all them turnovers. So he was doing right. And just because he's holding the ball don't mean anybody's open. That's the other part of it. And everybody that's on the broadcast ain't always right. So it comes down to, how do you want it? Do you want him to throw the ball all over the place? Do you want him 35 attempts a game and his turnovers go through the roof? I don't. Because the way he did it last year, and I said this last year, when Jalen Hurts throws the ball under 25 times a game, we are successful. When he goes above 25, we have problems. I said that 2 seasons ago when we went to the Super Bowl the first time. So how do you want it? I don't want style points. I don't want Jalen playing like every other quarterback in the league. I don't want him playing like Trevor Lawrence. I don't want him playing like anybody. All I want is him to protect the ball and take advantage of the opportunities when we get it. That's it. That's it. But look at this. Number one quarterback in the league. Number one quarterback in the league, Dak Prescott. 4,482 yards. He will most likely probably have close to 5. It'll probably be like right at 4,900 yards, right? Not in the playoffs. Jared Goff, number 2, not in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford's in. Drake May is in. Bo Nix is in. Sam Darnold is in. But look at it, 3,700, 3,700. Drake May, 3,900. Everybody's below 4,000. But the top 3 above 4,000, with the exception of Matthew Stafford, they going home, and Matthew Stafford only got 41. The long ball is overrated. Mahomes, 3,500. Herbert, 3,400. Trevor Lawrence, 3,400. Josh Allen, 3,400. Caleb Williams, 3,400. Jordan Love, 3,300. Baker Mayfield, 3,100. Jalen Hurts, 3,100. Long ball is overrated. I don't need all them gaudy stats, because you can still go home with gaudy stats. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. People talking about Josh Allen. This is the year he has to win the Super Bowl because Mahomes is not in it. And I'm like, hold on, time out. Time out. Number one, Josh Allen ain't that good. Number two, you just discount everybody else in the AFC. Everybody else is just like trash now? Is that what we saying? Like it's automatic? Like it's automatic? But you still got to worry about the Patriots. You still got to worry about the Ravens. You still got to worry about the Steelers. You got to worry about the Texans. Jaguars, I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm not worried about the Jaguars. It looks like the Broncos are in the West. And the Chargers. But Buffalo, is Buffalo the best team in the AFC? No. No. I wouldn't say that. But Quentin, it's the same thing like the NFC. I don't see no good teams. I don't see a team that's head and shoulders better than everybody else. I don't see that. I don't put Josh Allen there. Dolphins, nope. Patriots, maybe. You could argue the Patriots are the best team. The Colts were the best team for a minute till they lost their quarterback. Danny Dimes went down. The Texans, C.J. Stroud is looking good, but you know what? C.J. Stroud threw some bad balls in this game today. So he's got his issues just like everybody else. Trevor Lawrence, is Trevor Lawrence going to take you to the Super Bowl? Are the Jaguars even going to the playoffs? I'm looking at teams, I can't see their records. So Chiefs are out. Raiders are out. You got the Broncos. The Broncos might be the best team in the AFC. The Broncos and the Patriots might be playing for the title. They might be playing for the title. Fumble the ball. Green Bay just fumbled the ball. Now, was that a handoff? Or that's the second time I see Malik Willis fumble a snap. Yeah, I thought they showing him. Like, it had to be his part. Oh, dang it, I missed it. Hold on. Oh, the dude snapped the ball too soon. Willis lost it. Oh, he snapped the ball too soon. He wasn't ready for the snap. Oh, damn. Oh. That's rough, Green Bay. That's rough. Um, you think New England could be? It is wrong. Even though it is wrong, Shane Steichen seems like he refuses to use a non-Jalen system in Indy. Um, what you gonna say though? They was winning when Danny Dimes was in there. They were winning, so you can't say that. You can't say that. Yeah, that was the center. Yep, one play away. Listen, y'all hear me say that all the time. One play can determine a plus or a minus, a win or a loss. One play, and you just may have saw it. It's 17-7. They still in this game. They still in this game, and now you just gave them points. So now, instead of being up by 10, now it's a 2-score game. Now it's a 2-touchdown game if they score. If you can hold them to a field goal, it's a 2-touchdown game. But if they score and they get to 24, Green Bay in trouble. Good play. Great tackle, number 90. Great tackle. I just remember when Jalen was the system quarterback and the system wasn't Jalen. Yeah. So here's the thing. Every quarterback is a system quarterback. Every quarterback is a system quarterback. Tom Brady was a system quarterback. Peyton Manning was a system quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a system quarterback. Joe Montana was a system quarterback. The only difference is how well do you know your system, one, and two, how well is your system operating against a certain defense? That's the system. So I don't get locked into the verbiage you hear on networks and on television. It doesn't matter. Everybody's a system quarterback. The question is, how well do you operate in said system? That's what you want to know. How well do you operate in that system? Because if your quarterback can't read the open man in that system, it ain't the system, it's the QB. So everybody just knew the first time we played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl that Patrick Mahomes was just going to roll over us. And Jalen Hurts said, hold my beer. And everybody just knew after that game that we weren't going back. That was Jalen Hurts' best year. And they were saying that here in Philly. It's too hard to get back. They jumped on the bandwagon with all that shit that people say on the radio. So hard to get back. All of that. They jump in it. And at the end of the day, you still got to play the game. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we right back in the same spot and against the same dude who was considered to be the best in the business, and you took his ass down against the defensive coordinator that's arguably the best in the business, Spagnuolo. He dialing up blitzes from the upper deck. That's the dude. That's the dude that's supposed to be able to stop anybody. You're going to learn today. Everybody. Heck, even with Gannon. Shit, I'm more mad that they didn't change the damn cleats than anything else. So I don't, I don't get into the argument. You're not wrong. Everybody argues against it, and because everybody wants style points. That's why they don't give. And I said it before. Me and Tone talked about this. Jalen Hurts is not going to get the props he deserves unless A, he wins another Super Bowl, or B, these next 3-4 seasons that he goes above 4,000 yards passing. That's the only way that Jalen Hurts will get the respect he deserves. He either wins another Super Bowl, so that means he will have 3 appearances and 2 chips. Right? 3 appearances and 2 chips. Then it's undeniable. So, or going forward, he breaches the 4,000 yard mark. That's it. Because they want those style points. They want to see that he's a throwing quarterback. He's the type of quarterback that everybody else has or wants, or what their expectations of an NFL quarterback are. He has to meet those expectations. He has to check those boxes first before anybody gives him credit. And I'm like, your approval is not required to shine the rings that I have. Not required. So Kellen did, but listen, Kellen Moore, people forget this, man. People forget this. Early in the season last year, when before we were on our Super Bowl run, right? Before we knew that the defense was that good, they hated Kellen Moore too. Kellen Moore wasn't running the ball right. Kellen Moore wasn't running outside. Kellen Moore I didn't like the passing game, and it was the same stuff. The same stuff we say about Kevin Patullo is the same shit we were saying about Kellen Moore last year. It's the same stuff. So, Chris, you already know, man. That's style points, bro. I don't need style points, man. I don't need that style points at all. Your approval is not required. That's what I say to people. I'm going to just keep shining my ring, both of them. Both of them. People forget that in 2017, a backup quarterback went toe-to-toe again against the best in the business, Tom Brady. And not only did we beat Tom Brady, we took Tom Brady's best shot. Tom Brady was hitting us with haymakers. Tom Brady had 500-something yards in that game. He was slinging that rock all over the place. And we still beat him. Philly, and all of that. So, guess what? When it's time to shine, who shines the brightest? We do. So we got an opportunity to handle business. 520 yards. Man, listen. He was slinging that rock. You should have ran that, Malik. You didn't want to take that hit. But I understand what you did. Yep. Brandon Cooks. Yep. You spin around one too many times. You zig when you should have zagged. Bye. Yeah, 0-3, but like I was saying earlier, Tiff, that stuff don't matter to me. I just think right now the Eagles are playing better. Cleveland should have beat Buffalo. So everybody gets a turn. They got lucky. Cleveland should have beat Buffalo. Get the first down. Good job. Did he get the face mask too? Green Bay must score on this possession. They cannot go into halftime down by 3 scores. They have to score and make it a 1-possession game. Yeah. Them barbecue ribs was something awful right there, wasn't it? So yeah. At the end of the day, we are here. We are here. That's the only thing that matters. We are here. So, they didn't get called for that? Come on, Ravens. We are here, and we're going to find out which teams aren't in the next 2 weeks. So, heck, at the end of tomorrow, we're going to know. We're going to have a little bit better picture. So basically, if Chicago wins and they play after us, if Chicago wins, there's no need for us to play our starters in week 8 and week 17. No need to do it. So we'll find out. And don't think that was purposeful that they play. We should be playing last, but they are the primetime game against San Francisco. That ought to be a pretty good game, but I don't think Chicago going to beat San Francisco. I don't see that. I think San Francisco is still a better team. But we'll see. We'll see. And what's going on with Brandon Ayuk? That dude is crashing out big time. Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I don't see that. I don't see that. So it's my man K-Sap saying. So yeah, man. ATL. Ayuk. I don't know what's going on with Brandon Ayuk, man. I don't know. I didn't dislike Brandon Ayuk. You know what? I don't dislike Brandon Ayuk for this reason. When we beat San Francisco that year that we went to the Super Bowl and Brock Purdy got hurt, Brandon Ayuk was the only one that was like, listen, ain't no sense in bitching about it. They beat us. I'm home on the couch watching them. So respect to them. They playing. I had more respect when he did that. He did an Instagram post or something like that. He was watching the playoff game from his couch. He was like, hey, I'm at home on the couch watching them. What am I going to say? And I was like, that's it in a nutshell, man. Give everybody their props. It was an injury because if the situation was flipped and that'd have been Jalen Hurts that was hurt, nobody would have gave a damn. Nobody would have cared. And you couldn't have used that as an excuse. So it is what it is. Everybody gets a turn. Everybody gets their chance. And sometimes everybody get injured. So you got to deal with the hand that you dealt. So who lost his kid? Brandon Ayuk? I didn't hear that. I didn't know about that part of the story. Explain that. I didn't know he lost a kid. I know he's driving like at 100 miles an hour somewhere close to the stadium or something like that. Oh, it was 2 years ago. Okay. Yeah, but still, that's. Do you really get over that though? You know, I don't empathize with him, and hope I never have to. But look at Malik with the score. I see you, Malik, with the Lambeau leap. Okay, y'all needed that touchdown too. Oh, I think I remember hearing that 2 years ago. Yeah. Like stuff like that'll change you. Like that's why, different situation but kind of similar. When everybody was jumping down AJ's throat for the tweets, and I was like, y'all do realize this dude has been through some shit with mental health and suicide and things of that nature. Y'all do know that. So when you dealing with somebody that has that type of history, you can't force them in a box. You got to let them deal with things the way they deal with things. Period. If it ain't spilling over to somebody else, if he ain't crashing out, if he ain't driving 100 miles an hour in a residential area, what's the problem? He put out a tweet and y'all got a problem with it? That's why I was pissed off at Philly fans. I was like, y'all must be crazy. Not the Philly fans that I came up with back in the 90s and hard-nosed and hadn't won shit. Not them Philly fans. Y'all couldn't be that damn thin-skinned. That's impossible. Not the Philly fans that I know, but lo and behold, them jokers on the radio kept bitching and moaning about it. And I was like, y'all must be tripping. When that man step in Lincoln Financial, he about work. Yeah, he dropped a couple balls. So what? So does everybody. But we are a much better team with him than without him. Do not get that twisted. Y'all can bitch, moan, and complain because you don't like the way he tweet. You don't like his cryptic messages and blah, blah, blah. Stop bitching. We are a much better team with A.J. Brown. Let me say that again. We are a much better team with A.J. Brown. If they get rid of A.J. Brown after this year, that will be a huge mistake because who are you going to bring in with that type of production? Who? And then you got to look at somebody like DK Metcalf and all of that shit that he going through. Stop playing with me. Y'all don't, how you want it. That's what y'all call what A.J. Brown did? Y'all call that bad behavior? Get out of here. I don't want to hear that mess. People crazy, man. People don't understand what they want. No, I take that back. They do understand what they want. They want it to look like how they want it to look. Period. I hear people talk all the time, and it's very, and I'll say this coming from someone that's a former player that played in the league. It is very aggravating. It's almost like the argument I used to have with people. It would be inevitably I would get in these conversations where people know me, but they don't know me. Usually what happens when I'm on the job and getting to know people and stuff like that, eventually it would come out that I used to play for the Eagles, that I played with Randall Cunningham and Seth Joyner and all them guys. Eventually that information somebody would figure it out, right? And inevitably, you get these people that want to talk about the money you made and this, that, and the other. And they're like, man, if I had that money, I don't see how these guys waste their money away. And we shouldn't be paying them that much money. And this, and I used to look at people, I was like, man, shut up. Stop putting your current life on somebody else's lifestyle. That's what I used to say. How did you waste all of that money? And dude, keep your lifestyle on you. The way you run your life doesn't fit with somebody else. And if you was in that same situation, you don't know what you would be doing. Oh, I wouldn't be like that and waste money like that and all the flashy things. It ain't got to be flashy things. I used to tell people all the time. So you mean to tell me if you was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles and making $1.2 million a year, you going to still drive that same Honda Accord? Your wife going to still be in a station wagon, or y'all going to be sharing a car? Your kid want a car, you ain't going to buy it for him when you got the money to? Stop playing. Stop putting your life on other people. It don't work. And you sound stupid doing that. And you can't do that. But people, they do that. What I learned is, and this is over time, what I've learned was when people do that and they project how they would want to live their life through somebody else, all they want to do is tear people down. All they want to do is, because they have an opportunity for somebody that got to the highest level. I used to tell people all the time, I made it to the top 1% of my class. I didn't stay there long, but I made it to the top 1% of my class. So I'm in my college's Hall of Fame. I am a nominee for the College Football Hall of Fame. That means I'm at least being considered to have been one of the best players in college football history. I was good at what I did. So don't put your life on what you think I should have did or somebody else should have did. And why do they have to do that? And can't you just play football? That's when all of that other bullshit comes, it bubbles up. Because deep down, somebody else is mad at the opportunities that they didn't get or they didn't earn. So, but it's all good. It's all good. Because everybody's where they're supposed to be. So I think about that a lot. You think about it and you say, would I've done anything different? And I've said this before. The only thing I wish I would have done differently in my football career was when I decided to stop playing, because I stopped playing because a series of unfortunate events made it not fun for me playing football. And I always told myself, if I'm not enjoying it, I'm out. But the thing I wish I would have done immediately when I stopped playing football, I wish I would have immediately got into coaching. Because what I know now and I didn't know then was when you do that, you have to have an outlet that's still kind of aligned in the sport. Whether you're talking about it, whether you're working in it, whether you're coaching, something like that. And at the time, my experience in Canada ended so badly. I was like, F this, F y'all. I was like, ugh. It was a bad situation. And I was like, I'm out. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth this headache. But I wish I would have immediately went up to Temple or went somewhere and just like started coaching, started like get back into the grind. But you gotta, there's a lot of mental things you do when you stop playing that people are just now understanding what like the mental side of it. We talk about that a lot when I get with guys and we talk about like when we talk about CTE and all that kind of stuff. Like most of my marbles are still upstairs. But the one thing we always laugh at, like when I go home and talk to my homies, some of the guys I went to high school with that played in the pros, shout out to Ron Carpenter, shout out to Alan DeGraffenreid. We always like, dude, like, how's your head feeling? You CTE stuff? And like, nah, I'm good, man, but my short-term memory is trash. And they're like, dude, you too? Like, if I meet somebody, I'm gonna have to shake their hand like 3-4 times or write their name down. So, but stuff like that, man. But the point is, like, we learn, like, everybody goes through shit, and it's not just you. Everybody's going through the same stuff. It manifests itself in different ways, but everybody going through something. And that's the brotherhood of the NFL coming full circle. Because I remember seeing like somebody did a little news piece. This was years ago. This was over 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. They did a news piece on William Refrigerator Perry. I played with the fridge. That dude that scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl that should have went to Walter Payton. That guy. I played with the fridge. He was on the Eagles in 1993. So I knew the fridge. And I saw this guy in this news piece, and he could barely walk. He could barely walk. His knees were so jacked up. Now, mind you, the fridge at the time was a freak. The fridge they had him listed as 6 foot. He wasn't 6 foot. He was just wide as hell. But he was a freakish athlete. He was a nose tackle. He could dunk. He was crazy athletic. Like somebody like the size of Vita Vea, but just could get up and dunk a basketball and could move around. Like, he was a freak of nature to be that size and to be able to move. Very similar to what Jordan Davis is. To be that big and to be that fast, that was the fridge at that particular time. And then I saw this news piece, and that joker couldn't even walk. And if I'm correct, they interviewed his wife, and she said something to the effect of she had to cook his meals and leave him in the kitchen because that's the only way to get him to come out of the bathroom. Come out of the bedroom. And I say that because the stuff that athletes go through, the aftermath. Now, mind you, his insurance is probably up. Insurance ain't paying for that no more. Now you got a whole nother set of problems. So just the stuff that we go through is very, very interesting. Very interesting. And it's not always good. It's not always good. Derrick Henry won his 3rd touchdown. Oh, 10 seconds left in the half. Wow, what a gut punch. What a gut punch to Green Bay. Does Green Bay have to win to get in? What a gut punch. I'll tell you what, though. Tyler Huntley and Malik Willis, man, they showing out. Malik Willis is going to have a job next year. He's going to have a job somewhere. Yeah. Wear and tear. Absolutely. I am so lucky. I am so lucky. I always tell people, because I didn't play long in the NFL. Blessing in disguise, because I've seen some people and they own the struggle bus. I'm not. I might not be able to remember shit, but I can still hold an intelligent conversation with you. And then I remember people brought up, it was this year. It was a college game. I believe it was Pittsburgh. And they did a live interview on the sidelines with Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett was one of my heroes. That was before I knew I hated the Cowboys. That I was a running back, so Tony Dorsett was it, number 33. But they did a sideline report with Tony Dorsett, and the story was, after it was all over, after the game, they were taking heat because they would say there's no way that as soon as you heard him speak, there's no way you should have let him finish that conversation because he sounded so bad. And it's like, oof. So I count myself lucky, because some of the guys I played with, not so much. Not so much. Like, people forget, like, Antonio Brown, as crazy as he is, that didn't happen until he took that hit from Vontaze Burfict against the Bengals. In my opinion, that hit changed his personality. He was not like he was when he left the game, taking his shirt off, walking out of Tampa Bay, and just the craziness. He was not like that until after that hit. After that hit was when he started doing the videos in the locker room, and he went next level. He crashed out. Changed his personality. And I believe in this, and again, this is just my opinion, I believe to a certain extent, Carson Wentz had the same issue. Carson Wentz was different when he took that hit from Jadeveon Clowney in the back of the head. Drove his head in the turf. Drove his head in the turf. And he was, I could be wrong, but it seemed like he was a little bit different after that. He was never the same after that concussion. And you can go online and you can find there is scientific proof of people getting into car wrecks and having major head trauma and their personality changing, or they get in a bad accident and they come out speaking fluent Japanese or something goofy like that. Does shit to your brain, man. Does it to your brain. So you see that stuff all the time. I was bitching about the call on CJ Stroud. He got sacked and they called a penalty, roughing the passer, and I'm like, oh, that was a BS penalty. But when I have a chance to get into these meetings where we get in a meeting, alumni get in a meeting with Troy Vincent, who's the head of the competition committee. He's the guy that they change rules and all of that type of stuff. And he said something in one meeting, and it stuck with me. He said, I know that a lot of the old school guys, a lot of y'all OGs don't like the rules because we making the game safer. And he said it just like this. He said, but I've talked to guys that played when I played, and he said it ain't good. He said it ain't good. And I don't feel good about that. And I never thought about it like that. It's crazy. So everybody that lays a big hit on somebody, either the person that's laying the hit or the person that's getting hit, we don't see it, the public don't see it, and they don't show it too much. They make a point not to show it. But there's a lot of guys in the league that it don't end well. And I'm not talking about guys that get carted off because they tore an ACL. You get that brain rattled around up there, that's bad for business. Yo, what up, Function? Yo, I was at the Chargers game tonight. Nice. A lot of Texans and Chargers were hitting helmet to helmet on too many occasions. Yeah, man. There was some big hits. Some big hits in that game. So yeah, man. Not good. Like, just think of worst case scenario with CTE. Slurred speech, can't function, or can't walk, or, how your body just breaks down. How your body breaks down. You'd be surprised at some of the guys that used to play that can't walk, that can't, like, given the example of Tony Dorsett in that interview, he shouldn't have been talking. He shouldn't have been talking. So, like, you look at what's his name? What's his name on the broadcast? Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw should have been out of there. And you could tell, you could hear him talk. He know what he talking about, but it just don't come out the same. So now you add the CTE and the age, you get what you get. So, yeah. Jalen has had his scares. That one game last year where he tried to get a thumbs up, like, I'm good. Shout out to the refs that made the right call. Herschel, I played with Herschel. Herschel was my vet. Herschel was my veteran running back. We was in meetings together. I played with Herschel. Absolutely. It seemed like, that country strong ain't got nothing to do with you take too many hits to the head. So, I don't know. Yep. So, but all right, y'all. Damn, I've been rocking for 2 hours. I guess I was rocking while this game was going on. So, Texans clinched the playoff berth for the 3rd straight season. D'Amico getting it done. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna get up out of here. This was a good conversation, man. We got deep in the weeds, didn't we? Got deep in the weeds, man. But check me out tomorrow, 11 a.m. Me and Tone, Bald Eagles podcast. We're gonna be doing it tomorrow. The game starts at 4:25. The game is at 4:25. So, make sure you are a part of the action tomorrow morning. Jack Straw, appreciate your appreciation, bro. Thank you very much. We're going to see y'all tomorrow, and the Eagles are going to take care of business. I'm going to holler at y'all. Have a good night. Hit that like button on your way out. Thank you very much. Natarius, I appreciate that. Function. Katie's mom, Jack Straw, Tiffany, as usual, Chris 3K, Chris Bruce, Dark Panda, everybody in the chat. Y'all know my squad. I see y'all in here. Much love and appreciation. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you tell your friends about me. Tell your friends, tell your play cousins, everybody, so we can get this number to grow. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow, 11 a.m. Me and Tone, the Bald Eagles podcast, and we're going to get ready for our Birds to handle business against Buffalo. I will see you then. Go Birds.